Welcome to the Coach's Corner. My name is Sharon Polsky, and this is Morgan Jacobson, and we're your coaches. This is our upper body tutorial. You'll see that we have some lower body tutorials, doing some leg exercises like squats and lunges. This is going to be those upper body tutorials. It really didn't need to be broken down into multiple tutorials because we're just going to go through the exercises that I find that people do wrong most often, and it really isn't that many in upper body. So I'm going to have Morgan grab those weights, and we're going to start with a shoulder press. So she's just going to take those weights above her head. Now, you have two different types of shoulder press. She's going to give us a front shoulder press. What's important is that the elbows are facing forward, and the head of the weight is over the shoulder. She's going to pull her ribs in and flatten out her back, pulling the belly button into the backbone, keeping the core strong. Now I'm going to have her transition with the elbows out. Now what you'll see is the head of her weight stays directly over her shoulder as she pushes up and comes down. Most people tend to take those hands too wide. That is no longer a shoulder exercise, and it's actually jeopardizing the shoulder joint. So we always want to keep the head of the weight over the shoulder. And when you get to the top, I don't want you to pop those elbows. If your elbows get very sore after doing your upper body work, it's typically because you're popping those elbows each and every time. You'll see how soft she keeps her elbows, and she doesn't drop the weight below the ears. So every time she's controlling against gravity and bringing it down. I'm going to have her take those arms down, and she's going to put the hands directly by her sides. Lateral shoulder raises, she's going to lift the weights shoulder height and then drop it right back down. You're going to see that she's not rotating the thumbs up. If she were to rotate the thumbs up, so right now we're working lateral shoulder raises, this muscle right here. If she rotates the thumb up, she then takes it into a different area of the shoulder. You want to know why you like to rotate those thumbs up? It's easier. Morgan's like, because it's easier. That is a much stronger muscle group. We use our front shoulders all the time. Lateral shoulders you don't use. It's really one of our weakest muscle groups. Now, she's going to show us our front raises. She's going to take those hands and place them right on top of the thighs and reach those arms forward. She's going to go shoulder height and right back down, controlling against gravity on the way down. Again, the ribs are in and there's a slight bend in the knees. You have to remember, shoulders are a really complex muscle group, and you need to hit them from multiple angles all the time in order to get that nice round shoulder. I'm just going to let her keep going and keep talking about this. Now, I say to my ladies all the time, but I think this is true of gentlemen as well. Stop training your biceps so much and really work shoulders for a period of time. If you want really nice arms, it comes from the shoulder. What I find with most men and women for that matter is that their biceps are highly overdeveloped because they pick up stuff all the time and their shoulders are underdeveloped. Using just these 3 exercises a couple of times a week, you can really get nice round shoulders, and I always want you to push maximum weight. She's going to finish that left hand and bring the hands down. Now what I want her to do is I'm going to have her bend her knees and tip over from her hips, and she's going to show us a row. She's squeezing the shoulder blades together at the top, and then she's going to drop it right back down. You're going to see how close she keeps those dumbbells to her body. She's not letting them fly out in front of her. That utilizes your core by pulling everything underneath you. She's got a bent knee, that supports the back, and then she also brings those ribs in. So she doesn't have that big overarch in her back just because she's working through the shoulder blades. She's going to give me one more of those, and then stand right back up. Transitioning into bicep curls, the hands are by her side, and she's going to bend the elbow and lift the hand, and these are going to give me some full rotation. Again, she pulls the ribs in. Her back is strong and straight. She always has a slight bend in the knees. This is so important when you train upper body. Always keep that slight bend in your knees. Do not lock your knees out. You know, we've even seen people in the military, they stand with their legs locked out and they pass out. So I really want you guys to keep soft knees when you're working those bicep curls. She's going to transition this bicep curl just into a thumbs up bicep curl. Both hands go at the same time. Now, I always like to keep my elbows a little bit farther in front of me. She uses a little bit farther elbow back position. She's a lot more flexible and mobile than I am. In order for me to stay in the belly of my bicep, I have to keep my elbows slightly in front of me. She can actually come a little bit farther back and stay in the belly of hers. What's important about a bicep exercise is that you are contracting the belly of that bicep with a little squeeze and then letting it go each and every time. There's hundreds of different bicep exercises, but these are really two of my favorites. She's gonna put those weights down. I'm gonna have her grab one weight. Holding the outside edges of the weight, she's gonna take the weight above her head. Again, those ribs pull in, her back is flat, her knees are slightly bent, the elbows are gonna bend towards the front of the room, and she's gonna drop that weight down her back. This is for the backs of the arms. You know, ladies, where we get that little waddle back there, and we always talk about it as we get older. We hate that waddle. Triceps are such a great exercise for that. Now, when she gets to the top, she's pressing straight up towards the ceiling, and she's not popping those elbows. If your elbows are sore at the end of your upper body workouts, it's typically from you either dropping the weight and not resisting against gravity or popping that elbow joint. Morgan has actually such great form that she's able to really demonstrate the elbows staying in with those flexible shoulders of hers. She's gonna give me one more of those. And then we're gonna transition to a kickback. One leg in front, one hand down, the elbow is up and back. Now, when I do my kickbacks, I really like to lift my elbow so the top of my arm is parallel to the floor. When the top of the arm is parallel to the floor, you're able to contract and squeeze. She likes using a rotation with her hand, but that's not necessary. Keep your wrist straight. She can also do it with a straight wrist. It's just as effective. Some people don't have that forearm flexibility in order to do the rotation. The nice thing about the rotation is it prevents you from breaking at your wrists. So that's why you can do either type of kickback. And then she's just gonna stand right back up. The last exercise that I really like for triceps is laying down on the floor. And I'm gonna have her hold one weight. When you hold one weight, don't hold it like this. I want you to hold the outside edges of your weight. And the reason why I like this is see how neutral my wrists are? Having neutral wrists really give you a lot of longevity when you train. And then you lift the weight straight up towards the ceiling. I'm gonna bend at my elbow and lower the weight towards my forehead. Now, her arm goes straight back up. She's not moving the shoulder joint. The only joint that moves is the elbow joint. The elbow joint is what handles the contraction of the tricep. So I see this all the time, that people drop down, and as they lift up, the whole arm goes forward. And then they bend and it all goes back. That's a shoulder exercise now, right? Strength training, you need to isolate the muscle group that you're trying to work. She's working the back of the arm. And then the other thing is I always like to work against gravity. And so you'll see that the weight is parallel to the floor. So she knows that she is working against gravity. She's gonna give me one more of those. Perfect. I'm actually gonna grab that weight for her because it's just a little bit easier for her to sit right back up. And those are my favorite upper body exercises. You're gonna see that we didn't demo any chest exercises. People ask me this all the time. I don't train chest anymore. I use functional training to do my chest. I do a lot of burpees. I do a lot of push-ups. I do a lot of dynamic upper body work to do that. But over time, when we start training chest as we get older, and in women that have had some plastic surgery, it really works against us. And we start to see that our chest gets a little bit too wide, and aesthetically, it's just not appealing. That's not to say that women shouldn't train chest. I just don't anymore. It's not in any of my programs. You'll see my men's programs. I do have it. So if you're a lady that likes training chest, you're welcome to follow it from the men's program. I just don't incorporate it with mine today. So that is the Coach's Corner, and that is upper body exercises with Morgan and Sharon.